to win here tonight, and
well, guess what? That promotion splashed right back in their face because Battle Creek ended up winning this game, marking one of the most embarrassing moments in professional hockey history. The Battle Creek Bumblebees were the worst professional hockey team ever, and they only won one game. But that one game they won was in Elmira, New York, and Elmira decided it was going to be guaranteed win.
all right. Well, the enforcers have guaranteed.
So the FPHL is going to be expanding again for next season. They're going to be adding running a team in Biloxi, Mississippi, Fraser, Michigan, and returning to Elmira, New York with a new ownership group. And this is great for the league. Scheduling with an even amount of teams is a lot easier, and the locations of these teams is going to be really good for travel. And to finish it all off, these are very nice rinks as well, so it's kind of upping the quality of the league a little bit. So the FPHL is going to be expanding again for next season. They're going to be adding 3 new teams to go from 7 to 10 teams, running a team in Biloxi, Mississippi, Fraser, Michigan, and returning to Elmira, New York with a new ownership group. And this is great for the league. Scheduling with an even amount of teams is a lot easier, and the locations of these teams is going to be really good for travel. And to finish it all off, these are very nice rinks as well, so it's kind of upping the quality of the league a little bit. So the FPHL is going to be expanding again for next season. They're going to be adding 3 new teams.
I'm coming.
To go from 7 to... Well, how many players can you dress for an FPHL game? I think this one's going to surprise a lot of people.
laser rust remover machine. Oh my gosh.
That one will kill you.
Is this laser really the best way to remove rust off your tools and parts? Today we're going to test a bunch of methods to find out. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's go.
Big ol' thank you to eBay Motors for sponsoring today's video.
Hey Joe, what you doing?
Oh, I'm just messing around with this universal gator grip socket to see how universal it really is. By the way, did you know that eBay Motors is one of the only websites where you can buy parts, cars, and tools all in one place? I'm gonna go try to work on some.
You'll see us using a whole bunch of tools this season, and thanks to eBay Motors, we'll have links in the description below so you can buy the exact tools we use on this show. And if the tools you get aren't a perfect fit, eBay Motors has an awesome money-back guarantee, which means you'll either get what you ordered or your money back. It's that simple. Well, Joe, how universal is it?
Check it out. It even works on this bike. Now, show eBay Motors some support by clicking the link in the description below to shop tools and a whole lot more, including donut merch, which is now also available on eBay. All right, guys, I'm taking a half day. I'll see you later.
Well, hold on. No, don't take that bike. No!
Baby boy. Here, I can fix that.
Now, before we get to the laser, Joe, we got to talk about rust. So what is this stuff, huh?
Oh, rust is a cancer like no other. I hate rust so much, that's why I moved to Southern California.
Yeah, we don't have it here.
Yeah.
We had to ship these tools in from the south.
So today we've got some rusty tools here that we're going to try to unrust using 5 different methods.
From bare bones wire brush up to a $50,000 laser set. So our first method is using abrasion and some muscle, aka elbow grease. How about we start off with, I don't know, probably the cheapest of this.
Ah, my toothbrush.
So we'll test our wrench. You can tell that there's some fitting, which is irreversible. That's the problem with rust. Once it starts fitting and taking away that iron, it's gone forever. You're never putting it back. But we can clean this surface stuff up.
How does that feel?
Sometimes you gotta wet it a little. Well, we're lubing
I
it
did
up.
not see that coming.
I know. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's some Scotch Brite. Getting a fingy workout.
Oh yeah, dude. Luckily, I got strong fingers.
Oh.
You know, I think the brush did a better job of getting into the hits,
Yeah.
but the pad did a nice job overall.
So let's use the most aggressive form.
Yeah, we got a power tool here.
And your finger can just last all day long.
I'll be a baby bottom.
Yeah, that's not too bad, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it really didn't do much better than just the bristle brush. We also did get a little bit of damage.
Look at that. We did what, maybe 7 minutes of work? We went from this to that.
Much better.
Yeah.
But also, I think that we could probably get a better result. Let's turn up the abrasion, turn down the grease. Media blasting.
Heck yeah, man.
We got ourselves a little media blasting setup for about $70 altogether. It was $35 for the media blaster itself, and then about $30 for the media. You do need a pretty good compressor, but if you have one, this is a great way to remove rust or paint or pretty much anything that's on top of a metal surface. You can use a lot of different types of media that suit the thing that you're blasting.
My glasses.
So today we've got a glass bead, basically a sand, and that's going to be one of the most aggressive. We got some sand in the tank, we got some air in the tank over there.
We're ready to rock.
Do it, see how this goes.
Nice box.
Thanks, man. Everybody says that to me. Oh my God, look at that.
Well, that's pretty good, Joe.
Yeah, not too bad after just a couple minutes and very light effort.
And it's getting down to the bare metal. Another positive thing.
Yeah,
when
it's
you
a
use sand
whole
blaster.
step further, I would say. It just is a little bit messy.
You did that for maybe 2 minutes.
True.
Look at
There's
this.
sand everywhere. Yeah, but you can do that without sand, dude. I've seen it. Alright, Jerry, well, you did a great job media blasting that big old wrench. Tell us about how it looks.
So far, it's done the best job.
Yes.
Easily. This is one
That's what we
side.
did with the wire wheels and the steel wool.
You still have pits in here. You still have black oxide there.
This
Right.
side,
This
that's
side.
fresh.
That's fresh steel.
More expensive than the other methods, but not bad at about $70. It does make a mess, however.
makes a complete mess.
All right, now let's see how our next method does. Chemical. All right, Jerry, so what do we do if we got some rust, but we don't feel like scrubbing it?
You just want to set it and forget it,
Yeah.
right? Well, luckily, there's some smart guys out there who made some chemical like a CLR.
What's that stand for?
Calcium, lime, and rust.
Now, CLR, I remember seeing the infomercial.
Yeah,
They make some claims.
they make some claims.
CLR works all over the house. It's guaranteed or your money back.
This says you only need to let it sit for 2 minutes, which seems insane.
2 minutes.
So we're just gonna drench this wrench.
Drench the wrench.
I gotta tell you, Jerry, I'm skeptical. I think at best it's gonna do okay with this surface rust on the braking face of the rotor.
Well, let's put it in there.
Oh, and we've got this thing.
Yeah, so we found this at the racetrack. I don't know what it is. If you can identify what this is,
Yeah, I would like to know.
leave a comment down below. There's 2 of them that we found next to a differential. Take a good look.
I thought you were farting into that.
That's
Sounds terrible. Because then I was like, wait, where did I fart?
Ooh, yeah, it is kind of farty. Okay, and let's wait 2 minutes. There you go. Yeah, let's let this sit for 2 minutes and see
It's
what happens.
120 seconds.
2 minutes.
2,
3.
Okay,
Wait,
now
let's wait 2 minutes. Okay, now let's wait 2 minutes. That's it. Pull a second.
Wow!
Yeah, we got some surface rust that's kind of come off there.
Better than I expected.
Well, I'll be darned tootin'. Shall we do a wipe?
Yeah, give me a wipe.
Oh, this is like a bounty commercial.
Wow! Fresh metal, old rust. On the back side, we've got a little bit more pitting. It made it better, but you can see we've got clean, 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 and then the pitting starts. It didn't manage to do much about that. Now, this was definitely the worst rusted bit.
Okay. I mean, obviously your rust is coming off. Like,
Yeah,
just
sure.
Wiping it off. Yeah, like compared to this.
Well, yeah, and I think that is the difference between the deeper rust
Right.
and the more surface level stuff. Another nice thing about the chemicals, especially on something like this, we've got all these little textures, the grooves here. That's a lot harder to get into with
With the
a wire wheel,
Yep.
but the chemicals get in everywhere. All right, now, should we kick this up a notch?
Yeah, I think we should. I think maybe adding a little bit of mechanical advantage to chemical would be like the perfect mix.
Like the best of both worlds. All right, Jerry, what the heck is this thing?
This is a digital ultrasonic cleaner.
Whoa, that sounds fancy.
Yeah, so ultrasonic means that it uses high frequency sound waves, ultrasound, to create small little bubbles or cavitations. And when those bubbles pop, they disrupt the surface of the part and they clean it.
All right, now how much does this little puppy cost?
This thing weighs about $200. This is a bigger one. Pretty much anything that can fit inside you can clean. Instead of filling the entire tank, cool little trick that you can do is get some sort of glass jar and just fill the glass jar with your solution and then fill this with water.
Way cheaper.
You can have all sorts of different chemicals, different parts in this running at the same time.
The rest doesn't stand a chance.
It doesn't. 10 minutes. 3, 2, 1.
Wow, it sounds awful.
Whoa!
Whoa, that looks grosser, which means it must have worked.
Oh, it's really hot. It's 140 degrees.
I smell that fart juice.
I smell this juice. Whoa!
Dang!
That's pretty dang good, man.
That's really dang good. That's a bunch of small cracks and crevices that are kind of tough to get into. That's like turned it back to black for the most part.
I don't see a ton of negatives with this.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It smells bad.
And not all chemicals are environmentally safe or friendly.
That's true.
CLR is.
But some you have to dispose of accordingly. You know, take it to a place that actually disposes of that stuff. Either way, when you start using any chemicals, you're signing up to deal with the chemicals once you're done with them.
Right.
What's next?
Well, next we're going to use some electricity.
Ooh, laser time?
No.
Okay, well then what is this?
We have an electrolysis setup.
Sick.
We got a couple of things going on in here. The first is we have a tank full of water, and in this tank we have sodium bicarbonate, which is also baking soda. That allows for current to flow through this whole system. So we have a little simple setup here. We have a battery tender.
Like Grandpa's old battery charger.
Yeah, Joe brought this all the way from Ohio. We have copper wire, which is a good conductor of electricity and current. We've wrapped them all so they're all getting very good contact with our battery source. And then we have it clamped on over here, positive, negative. And when you put current through water, it splits water into hydrogen and oxygen. So on this side, we have oxygen, which is bubbling up on this, and on this side we have hydrogen gas, which is bubbling up. That hydrogen gas is reacting with this metal on this wrench, and it's pulling the rust off. We've been running this thing for about 24 hours now, so we're gonna pull it out and see what it looks like.
Well, Jerry, this is a pretty cool setup. I can't lie.
Jerry and Joe, the science guys.
Jerry, Joe, science, tool guys. Tools, 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 tools. Whoa.
Well, that looks pretty freaking good.
That's a fresh rotor, dude. Interesting markings left behind from the rust.
Because it's a chemical reaction, it changes the color of it, but all that can be cleaned up.
Yeah, it doesn't look like rust. That's what's important here. And honestly, I would say this is way cheaper than like the ultrasonic cleaner.
Right.
Because you probably have a battery charger at home. You probably have a tub. It doesn't have to be a fish tank.
It could be a 5-gallon bucket.
And it's cool as hell.
I mean, your mom comes in seeing this, she's gonna be like, uh-oh, I got another Unabomber.
Okay, so laser time?
Oh my god, Joe.
It's laser time!
You've seen on Instagram a bunch of people rust removing parts with a laser. Well, we came to the source of these lasers to test it for ourselves. The way these machines work is pretty interesting. They use lasers to heat up the contaminants on the surface of the part, and these machines can control how abrasive they are depending on the amount of rust or contaminants that you're trying to remove. I also have Justin here because Joe has diarrhea. He doesn't want to talk apparently.
Unfortunately, we don't get to play with it, but
Yeah, we're not certified in this, so we're gonna have a technician come. But we'll be over here oohing and eyeing, looking cool as hell, dude.
but first, we're going to start with this 200-watt pulse laser, which is less abrasive, and then we're going to switch over to the 1500-watt continuous laser, which should be way more powerful, and it's just going to wipe all this stuff right out.
It's gonna rip it apart.
Prepare for some laser violence.
Yeah, later rust.
Goodbye. Uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, it's smoking it. It smells good. Can I touch that metal? Is it hot?
Oh, wow, what? Wow.
Oh, nice and smooth.
I'm excited to see what it does to this thick rust. Because that, that nice sheet metal rust is one thing, but this is what most people deal with.
Right.
Oh, man. That's brand new. You can resell that thing. Woo. Woo.
That's all brake dust.
That's enough fun and games with this little baby 200-watt thing. Let's get to the 1500 continuous laser. Let's have some real fun.
Right. Let's
Do
go.
it.
Let's do it. Oh, dude. Oh, hell yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, you can feel the heat come out
Oh,
of it.
man.
Oh my god.
That one will kill you.
Dude.
That was cool as hell. That one gets warm.
Yeah, that one gets a little warm. But dude, see all the scaling that it took off?
You need to get that rotors turned.
Dude, that's amazing. Alright, we saved our rustiest wrenches and this thing, which we don't know what it is, but if you can tell us in the comments, that'd be great. Clean the floor. Heck yeah. Alright, cool, let's try this one. Good, that was great.
Holy crap. Oh, wow. Oh, that looks brand new.
Dude, it's like kicking it off.
It got any piece and everything.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. Obviously, with an intricate part like this, there are little small gaps and spaces, and that with a more traditional method like a wire wheel was almost impossible because you physically can't get down in between those small nooks and crannies. But you know what can get down there? Light. Dude, just toasting that paint.
Mesmerizing. Keep looking at it, which is why you need these.
Alright, Jerry, so it looked like the laser was pretty dang cool, but that's not really reasonable for anybody trying to de-rust their car part.
Right, it's more of a service where a shop will buy that.
Let's go over the methods that we went through that you could actually do at your house.
Right, so cheapest, just takes a little bit of muscle is just using an elbow grease.
Far and away the worst that we tested today.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't nearly do as good of a job or as quick as a job as some of these other ones. We're lazy bums.
Truth.
Unless you have a proper sandblast setup, the way we sandblast it, absolute mess. It works really, really good.
But the thing about a sandblaster or a media blaster that stands out to me is that you aren't beholden to the size of your tank. You can do big things because you're just out there spraying. You can do a whole car if you want to, do the frame of the car. But if you're doing smaller stuff, I mean, the ultrasonic, the CLR, sick.
Great. Really fast. It costs a little bit of money, but you can do all sorts of parts. It's not just rust remover. You got a gunked up carb.
Yeah, and you don't have to take the carb apart.
Right, which is awesome. All very cool technologies to remove rust. You know what? We're all just fighting entropy, Joe.
That's right. We're all oxidized.
We're all just falling apart, and we're trying to prevent Mother Nature from breaking us down.
That's right. And luckily now we've got a bunch of ways to do it.
That's right. We can fight back Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love Mother Nature.
Mother Nature.
You also give us life.
We just got our new Buff Horses Club tees, and they're super high quality and 100% cotton. Jeremiah already pulled an entire motorcycle engine wearing it, so you know it's been tested. Go get yours today at donutmedia.com.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see us continue on with the show, put a comment down below. We have some other tools that you want to see us test.
Yeah, please give us some more ideas.
Yeah, we love making the show. It's one of the best parts of my job. I love being here with all these guys. Guys, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
No, he meant to say he likes me, I swear.
I do, I really do. Follow us on Instagram at Zach Joe, at Jeremiah Burr, and of course follow us on Donut at Donut Media.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys in the future.
I'm chilling over there. See this fucking thing flashing over here. I'm like, what the fuck? Investigate, figure out, you know, fucking.
I tested safety glasses today, Joe.
Heck yeah!
We got $1 versus $20.
Versus $150 safety glasses. You really need to spend 150 times the money just to protect your eyeballs?
Let's find out.
Let's.
Thanks to eBay Motors for sponsoring today's video. Hey, Joe, what you doing?
Oh, I'm just grabbing this eBay Motors banner from the toolbox. You know, since they're sponsoring this entire season tool party, I just wanted to make sure that their banner was kept nice and safe.
Nice. Just like eBay Motors keeps the shopping process safe with their money-back guarantee. You get the tool, part, even car you ordered, or your money back. It's that simple.
And speaking of simple, eBay Motors made it simple for you to buy the exact tools we use on this show by adding links below. Show eBay some love by clicking the description to find tools and a whole lot more. Alright, now let's hang this thing up. Pass me a wrench.
This is just someone's sandwich and a delicious cup of peaches.
Wait a minute, so if this is just somebody's lunch, where are my tools?
Mom's at work, bud.
Alright, Joe. Why would I need a pair of safety glasses?
Well, eyeballs are pretty soft and susceptible to getting damaged by stuff coming at them. Working with chemicals, getting sprayed, working with metal, throwing sparks, or sometimes, like we've seen on the show, we've got a few different pairs here. We're going to test them out.
We have at the bottom
Mom's at
end of
work.
the spectrum $1 pair of safety
Yeah,
glasses.
made by Bison Life. Super cheap. That's a basic safety glass.
$1. Great. Toss them, throw them in the bag. They
Yep.
get scratched up.
Yep.
You get a new pair.
Yep.
Who cares? Next on this, we have a $20 pair of 3M Solus 1000 series.
Sound cool. That's a cool name. They are rated to the same safety standards as the cheap glasses. Yeah, these are pretty nice. Pretty good seal around the face. Pretty comfy.
Next on our list, we have
Oakley, $150 safety glasses. What the heck?
let's go. That is a lot of money.
It's crazy, especially for something you don't have. But at the same time, you spend that money on sunglasses. That's sort of the same thing, right? But do you need to spend that much? I don't know. But also, we got a fourth contender. It's got some cheapies from the gas station. This represents what a lot of people end up actually using in the garage. Just those sunglasses that way.
Alright, so we're going to put all these glasses through the ringer. We're going to do some anti-tests, which are official.
But then we're going to put them to the practical test. Sometimes the test safety equipment can be a little dangerous.
And we don't want to mess up our faces.
That's right. been cloned.
This is you.
This is you. Oh, Jared, we've always wanted to do this.
So the first test we're going to be doing is the ANSI drop test. So
One sec, bud, I'm coming.
So one of their tests is a 500-gram
Mr.
spike.
Wiggs,
That is
I'm coming.
dropped directly onto the lens of
You
the
getting
glass.
squiggly?
Something
You getting squiggly?
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Jerry?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Look at that.
Come on,
That's
Squiggly.
it. Just a little dimply dot. Can't even
Hey.
see the backside.
That really saved my eyes. $dollar pair of glasses. Now we have the $20 pair. Gelatinous cherry. He doesn't even look scared.
Okay, bud. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, glanced right off of. But I mean, it was kind of a glancing blow.
How about we try it one more time, Joe, to see if we can get a direct hit.
Yep. 3, 2, 1. That was a good hit. I'd say less of a dimple than the cheap ones.
All right, we have our $150 pair of Oakleys.
Whoa, we got it with a bit of a glancing blow. Kind of poked his cheek afterwards. Okay, looking for a direct hit on the Oakleys. 3, 2, 1. Correct. Maybe the least dimpling though. These might be a little harder than the others.
But we have one more test. Gas station glasses. You should be using these. This is just informational purposes only.
Oh, direct hit. Just ejected it right straight back up. Is that just the coating or is that the lens? I mean, that guy can still see.
4 glasses, 3 of them safety, no catastrophic failures.
Yep.
All done pretty well.
Yeah, not bad.
Well, like you mentioned earlier, one of the cautions you have to take is get sprayed or oversprayed when you're spraying.
Get my
So we
shoes.
rigged up our gelatinous heads here with some pH. So what we're going to do is we're going to blast these heads with our chemical and see how much actually gets on the actual eye portion.
I'm gonna hit this guy with a 1, 2, 3. Well, not too terribly bad. We got a little bit in his right eye.
Got a little peppering in there.
Yeah, that definitely burns a little bit, but you're probably gonna be able to see. The dollar safety glasses did a pretty good job. Now let's try the $20 pair and see if they can completely eradicate the eyeball spray. 1, 2, 3. Oh, just a little in the right eye. Probably came from up top.
I'm going to put this on my face. The gap,
Yeah, I see it.
see, that's what happens.
And you
there.
can't make that gap go away.
I can't make it go away. Like, what am I supposed to do? Walk
No,
around
I
like
know.
this?
I'm with you.
Because now I can't work with my hand. I gotta loosen stuff with my tongue.
I understand. Honestly, that's to me, that's pretty much a tie. Sorry, Jerry.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, we got a little. Oh, it's bleeding. Oh, you gotta wipe your eye. Wipe your eye, Jerry. Wipe your eye.
The seal didn't really properly seal it.
In a real life situation, you would have had time to wipe that away. I'm ready to call those the winner so far. But before we do that, let's go ahead and test the gas station sunglasses. Ooh, she's wet. And I think that just comes from how, so far, not unimpressed. But now I want to see how they handle a harsher chemical like brake cleaner.
Okay, we have some non-chlorinated brake cleaners. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one stream straight to the freaking lens. Whoa.
Can we do one straight stream on the backside, see
Yeah.
how the gaskets hold up?
Yeah.
Alright, now you might be wondering why most of the time your safety glasses are on the bench. Sometimes you'll be spraying some opposite brake cleaner, even though you should maybe be wearing them, and you're not, and you accidentally spray your glasses. Dollar units, crystal clear, no problem. Oakleys, that's a coating coming right off. It has a 3Ms destroyed, these are trash now.
Destroyed.
The Oakleys took a little damage,
Okay.
still usable.
Which is, they have no coating. They're just straight up plastic lenses, which is good
Yeah.
for chemicals.
Yeah.
You don't have a coating to react with.
This is probably one of the most common uses for me for safety glasses is grinding, welding, doing stuff that's throwing sparks. I've got metal in my eyes a lot.
You gotta see if these glasses protect their little eyes.
That's right. We got to see how many get in around the sides and edges. You got some sparks in your eyes there, Jer. Your next blink is gonna be spicy.
They definitely got on the eye holes.
Yeah. Now that was a lot of direct hits to the face. You know, you usually try to avoid that a little bit better in real life, but a lot of metal did get around those. So let's move up to the 3Ms.
Okay.
$20 pair.
Wow.
They did better.
It did amazing.
Way better.
That's pretty good.
I can blink that out. Oh, pretty good. There's hardly any in there.
Yeah, there's hardly any. Couple specks in there.
If
Yeah.
not for the safety glasses, it would look like that.
So far, you're paying for performance. But we still have one more.
Jesus is looking cool, man.
Jesus is looking cool.
Whoa! Actually, pretty dang good.
It's supposed to happen this way. Again, don't use sunglasses.
Unless you want good spark protection.
Right. Oh, don't say that either. I think most people have seen the picture of a cutting disc that broke off.
I mean, that's really what you're thinking about when you're using a cutoff wheel. This thing comes apart.
Your eyeball can't heal. So we have rigged up a sick little rig that is going to chuck shards directly into the face of our jelly boys.
We've got this disc on the grinder that is tree cut, ready to come apart. So we've got a bunch of hardware, random hardware in this bucket. Some of that is going to go through this tube by way of compressed air into this fractured disc, causing it to explode into my face. Definitely don't try this at home, even though it looks super fun.
Here we go. I'm turning this on in 3, 2, 1.
I thought that might happen. All right, shut her off. I didn't even have to do anything.
I thought you shot it.
No. Wow. And whoever put that one on didn't tighten her. That's about as dangerous as it comes. No face contact whatsoever. Part of this is going to be a little bit luck. Luck that we actually hit the...
We get a strike.
Take 2. And another no-hit.
Another no hit. Third time's a charm.
That seems like a hit. Oh! Oh! That was straight to the mouth. Keep going. We got to get a direct hit.
Definitely got a face hit there.
The glasses look good. Well, we are trying to change the strategy a bit. 6 discs and we had no direct strikes, so more glasses.
Oh! That's a hit. Let's get right off of it.
Yeah, no big deal.
All right, we have the $20 3-in glasses. Joe, you ready?
Oh, yeah. Oh, something lost a lens, and it's the gas station boys.
It's the gas station. That's great. Protected your eyeball.
Yep,
and
and
now
then
you're
that-
naked.
That was a solid hit.
Oh!
Ah! This thing just can't keep the important part in. No hit on the Oakleys. Let's explode another. Oh, we got direct hit to the Oakleys. I mean, that's as solid a hit as we could ask for. Okay, well, I would give all these a successful pass. You just want to make sure they save your eyes, and all the safeties did save your eyes. What if you caught on fire? I mean, what's the worst thing that? All right, Joe, let's see how they do. The $1 safety glasses, the bison light.
You have to take it off.
I'm melting! I'm melting!
You can't be taken off, but
I mean, look at my eyes, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Yours are smoked out way more than mine. Mine are still white as hell. Yours look like you've been on fire. But dang.
Yep, those things are fine.
For me, right now, these are winning. Up 3rd and 4th, we've got the Oakleys at $150 and then the gas station Junkers. Woo! Glasses are just melting.
I mean, I think there's an obvious for
Yeah.
me to do.
I mean, we got some cracking of, like, I guess the coating. Eyes pretty good.
Pretty
They,
good
they
eyes.
still don't even look as smoked out as yours did on the first round. Now at the gas stations, they took on a bit of a shape.
They did. I wouldn't say that these would protect you from blast of flame straight to the eye.
I went to a store this morning and bought a nail gun. So I was thinking maybe we shoot some nails with these.
Oh, heck yeah.
I bought the biggest one. We're gonna be fine. Why do they have sights on these? So this thing has a automatic mode. So let's see what that does.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's a few hits on each.
Well, that deflected it. Perfect. No damage at all.
Who would have thought safety glasses would be so safe? That's awesome. Direct hit there and there. No eyes have been put out. Safety glasses did their job.
What if we just put the gun straight?
Yeah, I want to see what happens point blank. Are we good? Oh! Not much you can do about that. Oh! Sorry, dude! Well, hey, those things aren't falling off anytime soon. I'm going to be super impressed if any of these stop this. Oh! 3, 2, 1.
Oh, smart.
Right through the pupil. process.
Basically, a short story is don't take a nail gun.
All right, Jared, before we get into the safety glasses, let's go ahead and count these guys out.
Yeah, if you're using sunglasses from a gas station, don't use them.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get to the safety glasses. For about $1 a pair, we got the Bison Lifes, and I gotta say they did pretty dang good. They don't have gaskets, but they still seal to the shape of the face pretty well. At about $1 a piece, you get them in a pack of a dozen. Yeah, they're like disposable. Question for me always has been whether or not they would actually protect my eyes in the event of something catastrophic, and now I know they will. And they're also basically free.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Moving on to the Koreans, we have the added face sealer here. Now, for me, these didn't fit my face at all. So I wouldn't have picked these even if they were the best. But that's just because they didn't fit my face.
Right.
Aside from that,
It fit my face pretty well, and when it does fit your face, it not only is good to try to keep things out of your eyes, but it's more comfortable too. Now, these did terrible with the chemicals, but otherwise they did pretty well. I mean, against the sparks, the grinder discs, the nails. Personally, so far what I'm thinking, you have a bunch of these around, laying around, and then you have like one pair of these for when you're doing a bunch of grinding. Now, moving on up to the $150 mark. Honestly, I was ready to be impressed by them somehow or another, but they really didn't do anything better than the others. They do a good job. I just don't really see the value in that kind of money for something that I'm definitely going to destroy.
I would just buy a bunch of these. I'd have a couple in my truck. I'd have a couple in my toolbox. Because how many times are you working on a car and you're just like, oh,
I'm
I'm
already
fine.
here.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'll
gonna.
just do the squint.
I'll do the squint.
I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I would definitely have a lot of these, but then I think I would have a pair of these laying around. Basket. To me, these are the winners.
I agree.
We just got our new Buff Horses Club tees in. They're super high quality and 100% cotton. Jeremiah already pulled an entire motorcycle engine wearing it, so you know it's been tested. Go get yours today at donutmedia.com.
This was fun.
This was fun. I hope you guys had fun too. Thanks for being part of Tool Party with us.
Yep.
If you want to see any other tools or stuff for us to test,
Slam them in the comments. We'll do it.
down below. Yeah, we'll do it. Follow us here on Instagram at donutmedia. Follow Zach at ZachJoe. Follow me at Jeremiah Bergen. Until next week.
Later, you say.
If you actually want this hat, join the Donut Underground. Go on the Discord. We'll sign this hat, we'll give it to you, and we'll give you $50 for you to use on donutmedia.com. So you can buy a new one if you want.
It hasn't been burned.
Right, my phone. $4.50. We've been at it for about 12 hours. This is what it takes to make YouTube videos.
This is gonna hurt you guys.
This is the worst driving car I've ever driven.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
So, we bought a new car, and like every new project, this thing needs some modification. So we went to our favorite website to buy car parts from, wish.com. Today we're gonna install it on the car and see if it's good enough to stay on the car, and if it's not, then it goes straight to trash.
These are serious as heck.
He's Zach, I'm James, this is freaking Donut, baby. Thanks to Jackery for sponsoring today's video. Sure, there's Flag Day and Valentine's Day, but for my money, the most underrated holiday is Jackery Day. It's Jackery's biggest and most important day of the year, and it's right around the corner on May 12th. And this Jackery Day will be celebrated with the unveiling of a brand new, incredibly powerful Jackery model. But you can also celebrate with traditional Jackery Day festivities, like my favorite, powering an entire refrigerator with the Explorer 1000. Jackery's most popular powerhouse with the ability to supply 1,000 watts from multiple ports like AC outlets, DC carport, and USB charging ports. Then, of course, there's the traditional Jackery Day feast, a rotisserie chicken, side of buttery mashed potatoes, and a Jackery solar generator of 1,500. This power behemoth has a massive 1,800 running watt capacity, powering 99% of your devices in the event of a power outage, winter storm, or just out camping. Take that, Dino Juice. So click that link in the description and make sure to put Jackery Day in your calendar on May 12th. Jackery is unleashing capabilities as everything those generators are, plus even more features for power, baby. Now it's time for the Jackery Day tradition to dance the public domain. Hit it! installed Wish.com parts on cars before. Zach, what are your expectations?
Through the floor. Very low.
Historically, they have not been very high quality, but maybe we will be surprised.
I would say if one of these things is good enough to stay in the car permanently.
All right, first up, what's one of the first things you do to your car? You lower it. Wheels on it. So we have some DNA motoring. Coil VW85 RD for 1985 to 1998 Golf/Jetta Mark II 4-cylinder adjustable scaled suspension coilover red springs.
Springs are obviously the best. And these ones are height adjustable.
Warning, first thing, this product contains chemicals known to the state. And I'll tell you what state, it could be like the state as in like the government.
Well, let's see the actual parts. DNA, motoring.
They're heavy.
Usually, lowering spring set from like a reputable company will cost you $150, $200, $250, somewhere in that range. So, fraction of the price, 25%. I mean, so far they really don't look that bad.
I mean, they're metal.
Yeah, they're metal, decent rubber bump stop. These collars are actually decent. The threads cut in them. Okay.
These are definitely not the worst coilovers that have been installed on a car.
Definitely not.
Let's put them on the car, take them for a quick drive, and see how they ride.
Hey, buddy.
It's a couple days later, Justin has installed the coilovers on the Cabrio. I don't look any different, but hopefully the car does. Let's see what these $60 coilovers look like. Let's take it for a drive and see how they ride.
It looks higher.
Why does it look higher? It's supposed to go lower.
So, the back is lower,
Okay. What happened in the front?
so I gotta show you something.
Oh yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what you want.
got actual spring to it. Let's do the front.
Oh god.
So, those springs are definitely 4 rear springs. The back, work flawless.
Yeah.
The adjustable purchase for those did.
Oh, weird.
And welcome to This Is. Tim Cook has pulled out his scythe and slashed down one of the few remaining products that was an absolute icon, the iPod Touch.
Which means that officially, as of today, the iPod line is officially no more. Which is actually really sad because the iPod Touch second generation was absolutely the device I used to launch my channel. I borrowed $200 from my dad. I bought the iPod for literally 24 hours before I had to return and give him the money back. And I think I made 18 videos in that 24 hours.
So if you think we're just churning out horrible content now, wait till we start doing 18 videos on a single product again.
Seeing that the iPod Touch is officially no more really got us thinking. A bunch of other products that might be on the Tim Cook hit list. Why don't we take a look at some products that Apple might just kill next, or maybe they should kill.
They should. They should absolutely kill off this next product. The Magic Mouse, white. But it's $20 more for the black one. And it's the same exact mouse, FYI.
It's Pro? It is the least ergonomic mouse
Yeah.
in the history of mousing. You might as well put your hand flat on a surface and just rub it around a bunch, because that's what it feels like after you have carpal tunnel.
In the year of our Lord, 2022, we still have to flip over this piece of shit mouse to charge it. There is not a single redeeming thing about, the gesture's fine. You know what? I'd rather use an iPod Touch as a mouse than the Magic Mouse. Because at least I could charge that while using it.
Another product that I think is truly ridiculous that they still sell is the Magic Keyboard. Now, this is a keyboard which is actually okay. It sort of reminds me of typing on their laptops. However, they're gatekeeping one of the coolest features from the latest Macs, the Touch ID sensor. If you want to have Touch ID on a desktop Mac, too fucking bad, says Tim Cook. It's funny, Mike actually, my co-host of the highly acclaimed Formula One podcast, The Backmarkers,
Which you
recently
can see right here.
he recently took apart one of these keyboards keyboards to pull the Touch ID sensor out to, put it in an actual keyboard you would want to use. The Touch ID sensor is great, but the downside is the fact that you cannot put it in any other product, which means that while this keyboard is fine if you're a pleb who doesn't care about the tactile surfaces your fingers interact with on a daily basis, if you want that Touch ID,
Speaking of segues, the Mac Mini Intel is another product that should go the way of the Buffalo.
wait, Buffalo still exists.
What?
You should say like the dodo, the
It's
kiwi
Buffalo,
bird.
New York. How dare you? It's not my hometown, but it's close to my hometown.
No, it's your imaginary hometown. It's not a real place. It's an 8th gen processor, right? So we're what, 4th generations behind? Now, mind you, when this Mac Mini first came out, it actually was pretty decent. It made sense before the M1 came out. Now the M1 is basically better in every way. The only real reason I can think of as to why this still exists is that if you want to buy a new Intel-powered Mac that's not a Mac Pro, this is one of your only options left. So I assume it's more so for people who have to have Intel.
I'm gonna tell you the real reason that this is still on their website is so they can look and say, look at how expensive Intel is, but look at how affordable Apple is. Anyone else looking to buy a Mac Mini should definitely get the M1, and this thing here should go.
You know what else should go? The MagSafe Duo Charger. Now, this is actually a fairly new product. On the surface, it actually seems like a fairly cool idea. On one side, you can wirelessly charge with MagSafe your device, your phone specifically. And on the other side, you can do the Apple Watch. Makes sense, right? Well, about 15 minutes after this came out, they released the newer Apple Watches that have fast charging support, and this doesn't handle it. They also have the audacity to charge you $130 for this. I actually finally upgraded to a 7 not too long ago. Great watch, a lot of really good things about it. However, if you try to put this on one of the older non-fast charging chargers, this will take a couple hours to charge, right? It is incredibly slow. Whereas you put it on a fast charger, it's like 45 minutes.
Just because it's new doesn't mean it's good. Speaking of things that are new but not great, the MagSafe battery pack. Now, I will fully admit that I have one of these. I have tried about 7 different MagSafe battery chargers.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one. It just feels the best in my hand, but there are so many shortcomings to it. One, it's a really small capacity.
Yeah, it's like, what, less than a
full charge.
And this is for a mini, even.
You could wirelessly charge it from your phone to the battery.
Back to the battery. But only
But not with an actual MagSafe charger.
Apple used to make specific battery cases for their devices. The problem with these were that they were very expensive. They only worked on one model of phone, and they usually came out like 6 months after the phones, right? They made no sense. This is a much better idea in theory. However, it's $100, and while it holds on to the back of the device relatively well,
It does hold on the best of any other MagSafe battery that I've tried.
which makes sense.
Which is key to this.
But there's a lot of weird decisions, especially considering the fact that it's hard to charge. For $100, I think Apple could do better. Speaking of things that they could do better with, how about a polishing cloth? Sorry, just give me one moment. I just need to drink some Boss coffee to energize myself for this segment.
I will drink my sugar-free Red Bull to energize myself for this one.
Wow, the Rainbow Mountain Blend, truly, truly delightful. The polishing cloth, my friends. One of the strangest products that Apple sells. For a solid $19, Tim Cook will personally deliver you a cloth of the gods.
He won't.
He will hand it to you as you carefully wipe the nano-texture glass on your $6,000 Pro Display XDR.
If Tim Cook was personally handing this to me, I could justify that price. I'm going to defend the indefensible. There's zero justification for a $20 polishing cloth. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
But are all polish, like all I can't, I'm struggling. This is not a bit. I'm struggling to say this.
Coffee?
Out of your hand.
How dare you? It's still delicious.
All microfiber cloths are not created equally. But for this guy here, no. Don't buy this one from Apple.
Now, you know what you should buy?
What should I buy? EarPods wired, which is a $19 headphone that they still sell. Here's the thing. None of their damn phones have a headphone jack. I would have said the iPod Touch, except that is no longer continued.
To be fair, you could buy the Lightning version of the EarPods also for $20 on the Apple site.
They're not that good a headphone.
No.
Like,
They
the
used to be
EarPods
free.
have never been good.
They used to be included in
Right.
the box.
Don't buy this one.
You know what you should buy? Feet for your Mac Pro. So, my friends, let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, a little boy named Tim Cook sat down for a deep slumber, and when he awoke, he had a vision. He should bring back the Mac Pro. However, in his dream, the Mac Pro kept escaping him. It was truly frightening to him that something on wheels could just roll away. He could design a beautiful, perfect new product, and then Johnny Ive would just push it away, and he'd be so sad. So he decided to have the team develop $300 feet for the Mac Pro. Yes, friends, that's 80 something dollars per foot to make sure that the Mac Pro doesn't just diddly do away.
Why are you always talking feet? You know what's not right? That Apple still sells this next product, which is the Mac Pro wheels.
It's also $700.
Yeah, no one should be paying $700 for wheels like this. YouTubers love to buy the Mac Pro. No YouTuber needs a Mac Pro. Marquez does not need a Mac Pro.
Wow!
He doesn't.
Shots fired.
Yeah, the real companies that are buying this, which is like major like TV studios, to them an extra $700 for this is pennies in the bucket. So this is where companies can overcharge for stupid accessories. Companies buying, you know, maybe 10, 15 of these things across the company. No one's getting an itemized bill for that. Is it egregious for $700? Yes. Is Apple the only one who does it? Absolutely not.
That's a good point. A lot of like high-end workstations, the accessories and the little bits and bobs that they add are outrageously expensive. Right? Like you compare the wheels to like, you know, this is the same price as an entire Mac Mini. That seems crazy. But when you get into the high-end $30,000, $40,000 systems, you're completely right. No one pays any attention.
You can go get a $100,000 HP workstation right now. The RAM is triple what it should be when you're doing that. It's fake money on paper that corporations just kind of trade between each other. Everyone thinks that Apple is for nothing but consumers. It's not.
This is for clickbait YouTubers.
Exactly.
Skateboard out of a Mac Pro.
Yes, but you know what's not for clickbait YouTubers? Where actually all this is because we're doing it and we're clickbait you into watching this video.
The XDR stand. This goes along with all the other Mac Pro accessories. It's a $1,000 stand for the $5,000 to $6,000 Apple Pro Display XDR. Kind of cool design. I will give them that.
I will say it is the best feeling stand I've ever used.
Absolutely. It's got magnets. It's got sort of tight and adjustment and rotation and stuff, but still, it's a $1,000 stand. Maybe
everything I just said about the wheels and the feet,
just copy paste. Yeah, there we go.
I feel like we could say that about pretty much anything Mac Pro related.
Well, but that's the thing. The Mac Pro is such a weird product, and honestly, it doesn't seem like it has a huge future.
They still sell things like outdated graphics cards, like 5500, which are overpriced to begin with. No one should be buying a Mac Pro right now. It's outdated, it's overpriced, and it's just kind of funneling everyone over to like a Mac Studio.
They definitely want you to buy a Mac Studio right now. You know what else they want you to buy, Matt?
What do they want me to buy? The Lightning to Micro USB adapter.
This is actually, fun fact, they had to make this. I believe it was the EU who had a regulation saying that all devices had to be like micro USB for a minute, and then like obviously USB-C took over.
What I find hilarious about that whole story, by the time this actually gets resolved, I feel like we're gonna have like a new standard.
I actually think if this was a USB-C Lightning adapter, it would actually be kind of useful.
Yeah.
If I could just have an adapter on like the end of a cable and not have to think about the stupid Lightning, I actually think it would be kind of cool.
And that's the thing is you can go on Amazon for $10 and buy one of those cables that has the 3 adapters that are all built onto it, and you can have whatever cable you want. This right here is the epitome of why do they still sell this.
I got a story for you, Matt. So,
Come hang out.
Apple, who sells a wide variety of products, they like to make sure that you're a happy, satisfied customer. Which means that, Matt, if you want to go and buy a power adapter for your iPhone, perhaps an iPad, then they've got a multitude of choices. You know the issue with all of these? They all cost exactly $20. The fact that they still sell the 5-watt adapter that they put in the box of iPhones for like 10 years for $20 is absolutely egregious. You know how long, if you have a 5-watt adapter, it would take to charge like a modern iPhone from 0 to 100? It's like 3 or 4 hours. It's something ridiculous.
I know that there's some crazy person in the comment who's gonna be like, yeah, I prefer the 5-watt adapter because when I leave it on to charge overnight, it trickle charges it so that way the battery stays. Shut up. No. Austin, did you know that Apple still sells the Apple TV HD? So not only are they still selling this piece of Amish technology, they're actively updating it.
Here's the thing. For $150, this is a set-top box, which not only is old and out of date, but it also only supports high definition. For only $30 more, you can get the far newer, far more powerful 4K version. Also, for like $30, you could buy like a 4K Chromecast or something. But Apple has the audacity to charge you $150 for a high-def only box. This is so stupid on so many levels. Like,
Again, there's going to be that guy in the comments that says, well, my TV doesn't support HD, so I got this one. You know that they downscale, right?
Also, this thing is old and out of date. Spending just a little bit more money will make a far better overall decision. And you don't have to use the 4K part. Or if you really want a high-def only streaming box, buy a $10 Roku. Like, it's just, this is so stupid.
There's so many other options than this guy here.
You know what else you should buy, Matt?
What should we buy?
You should should not buy a USB super drive. Now, I am 80% sure, short of some like original MagSafe one like adapter or something, that this is the oldest product that Apple still sells. It is an $80 CD and DVD drive. This still uses USB-A, mind you. It's weird because not only is this still being sold, it's still actually readily available. You can get it at your local Micro Center. You can get it at pretty much any physical Apple store. And it makes sense because, you know, if you want to be able to use a disc, whatever. But the fact that they've not touched this thing, and I believe over a decade, is crazy to me.
This is the one that I'm going to disagree with you on. There are still plenty of situations where people still need some sort of DVD drive.
But, like, do you want an $80 Apple one when you could get one that's cheaper that actually does, like, Blu-ray and stuff?
No, you're right. You're right.
If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments if there's an older product that Apple still sells directly on their site. This product is older than some of the people watching this video.
Can we go back to that part where you said that this is older than some of our viewers?
Matt, you realize that there's going to be a time in the not too distant future in which this will be older than some of our employees?
You know what I also don't like? The Series 3 Apple Watch.
Oh boy, this thing is dumb.
Released in 2017. Now, the 4, 5, and 6 were all discontinued, but the 3 remains. I argue this is the most egregious
On
on,
this
the
whole
website.
list?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Because, so I upgraded the 6 from the 3.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I did that was because there was literally not enough storage on the 3 to upgrade to the latest OS. Now, here's the problem with that, though. You can go out and buy a Series 3 right now and run into that same problem brand new.
Now, the SE, for context, is only $80 more, and it is a far more up-to-date watch. Now, mind you, I used to use a Series 3. I had one back in 2017. It was a good watch then. The processor's old, the screen is small, and the fact that you literally can have problems updating the OS with 0 things installed out of the box is absolutely ridiculous.
You had to, like, basically factory reset it.
Reset it when you want
then,
to update.
Yeah, if you're in the market for one of these watches, don't cheap out. For $80 more, get the SE. It's going to last you a lot longer.
Yep. Oh, man. I wish I had another Boss coffee right now. This video is long.
No more Boss coffee!
The DualSense controller, my friends. So, if you recall, a few years ago, actually 2 years ago, I believe, or 1 year ago, or time is a flat circle, Apple started selling the DualSense controller on Apple.com. Now, this actually works natively on iOS, on tvOS, pretty much most Apple devices, and especially if you're using like Apple Arcade or something, it makes sense, right? What's really weird about this, it's fine to sell the DualSense. Honestly, this is the best controller that you could really get for like an iPhone or anything like that. That makes sense. They don't even sell the Xbox controller, and that also works, which I find it's incredibly weird.
Now, the people in the comments are going to be like, that's because Xbox sucks. Some of us like to have the joysticks offset and not down here. Ergonomically, this makes more sense to me.
But let us know in the comments what you think the weirdest product that Apple still sells is, and if you're going to tell me it's the AA battery charger, well, joke's on you, because they stopped selling it, very sadly. Subscribe, ring-a-ling, the ding-a-ling button, and let Matt know Boss Coffee is the superior caffeinated beverage.
Hashtag Team Red Bull Matt 4. Oh, and welcome to This Is Austin. Why are you an Apple fanboy?
Because
Good, how are you? So what do we got here? So I've got a signed movie poster from the 1995 cult classic film, Tommy Boy.
And I'm assuming it's signed by Farley, Spade, and Rob Lowe?
It is Rob Lowe, even though Rob Lowe wasn't credited in the movie.
Okay. Oh, shnikes.
I have a signed Tommy Boy poster that I'm looking to sell today. Tommy Boy is one of the greatest comedy movies of all time, and it's one of my favorites. I got the movie poster when I worked as a DJ in the 90s and gave out promotional items before the movie. One of them was signed. The signatures on the poster include Rob Lowe, David Spade, and Chris Farley. I think a fair value would be $5,000 for the poster. This is pretty cool,
I
man.
don't think anybody in the world hasn't, right?
Right, correct.
And it's just one of those, cult classic Lorne Michaels SNL movies. Yeah, it came out in 1995. I mean, that's pretty much the top of Chris Farley's career. I mean, he was just at the cusp of super ultra mega Adam Sandler stardom. You know what I mean?
Right.
And The guy was just hilarious. It was one of the funniest SNL guys there ever was.
Unbelievable comedic talent and a great guy, from what I've heard.
But unfortunately, 2 years after this, he ended up dying. Who knows what he could have done? I mean, the guy was incredible. So what are you looking to do with it, my man?
I'd like to sell it to you today.
Any idea what you're looking to get?
I think $5,000 would be a great starting point.
I'm in a quandary here. I mean, if Farley was still alive, then I would say no way. But he died pretty young, and stuff is getting more and more rare every day. Do you mind if I have somebody come down and take a look at the signatures?
No, not at all. I think it'd be great.
Do me a favor, hang out, and I'll make a phone call, see if I can get him down here.
Cool, thank you. I'm pretty firm at the $5,000 mark. It could be higher, could be lower. I'm not sure. I'd like to see what they have to say.
Hey, Corey. Hey, what's up, Steve?
How much? How you doing?
Well, how are you?
Good, thanks.
So here we go. Tommy Boy.
One of my favorites. I mean, everybody that I know likes comedy movies loves Chris Farley. I mean, he was basically the next John Belushi, and then tragically, like Belushi, 33 years of age, passed away. So quite a comedic force, to be honest with you. And somebody I loved. I watched him at Second City in Chicago before he ever hit Saturday Night Live.
Oh, wow.
And I met him many times. Really great guy. Pretty good with his fans. And I think he just loved what he was doing.
Just to watch the guy that big move around like that, I mean, was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. So your concerns, obviously, the autographs. The thing I don't see a lot on Farley is signed stuff like this. It just doesn't really exist.
Now, David Spade,
Yeah.
Pablo, he's still around. I'm sure he signs a lot.
I mean, both of them are pretty accessible, so that they're never the issue. But the issue, again, is Chris Farley.
Right.
And this movie came out in 95,
Mm-hmm.
died in 1997. So you have a really short window to get that signed. I know he had to do some promo stuff. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 posters signed by him, but they're exceedingly rare. It's kind of cool to see something like this in person. So I guess the first thing, I just want to see if this stuff is live, and in order to do that, I'm going to have to move this around a little, Corey, if that's all right.
Okay.
And that's cool with you guys?
No, absolutely. Please.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I just want to concentrate first on Chris's signature. And there we are. Nice red fiber tip marker. I can see the overlapping in that. Rob Lowe is right below him. And that's pretty easy to see there too. And then David Spade is on this other side here. Same thing there. So you've got live signatures here, Corey. And, you know, the one you really want to concentrate on is Farley.
Sure.
Because that's the tough autograph, like you mentioned yourself. So I do have some examples of his autograph. He had a really nice autograph sometimes, and then times he didn't. As I look at this, I see the same C here. His H would come up, and he made great care in the dot. And his F was a little different, but you can see it almost looks like a 7 here. So signature is authentic. David Spade signed it. Rob Lowe even signed it.
Okay. So what do you think it's worth?
People really are after his signature. The signed poster market is as hot as I've ever seen it before.
Okay.
I would easily put the value of this at $5,000. Wow. It's a great piece, and quite honestly, Corey, you're not going to see too many Chris Farley posters come in here too often, so it's something I would jump on.
All right, man. Well, you want to help me get this back up here?
Got it. Let's get that back up here.
Thanks for coming in.
Yep. Good to see you now.
Well, pretty much knew exactly what it was worth. I got to make a few dollars.
Right now, I understand. You're running a store here, not a charity.
Would you take 3,500?
Boy. Do 4,500.
I'll split the difference with you. $4 grand.
I've had it for 25 years. I'm going to stay firm. 45.
You know what? It don't happen all that often, man, but I gotta have it. So, all right, we got a deal. Maybe over there we'll do some big work. All
Right
right.
on. Thank you. The agreed upon price today wasn't here or here so much. Right about here.
We had a comic strip come into the shop. It's a Spider-Man comic strip from the 70s, signed by Stan Lee. So I'm headed down to the Avenger Station on the strip right now to meet the creator of Spider-Man, the one and only, Stan Lee himself. That's a nice Iron Man suit.
Thank you. Do you have one too?
I would have wore a Spider-Man suit, but it's
Yeah.
getting a little tighter than it's supposed to be these days.
Sully.
Hey,
Excuse me.
how you doing? Are you just cutting everyone?
Sorry.
No.
I thought I was supposed to meet you outside.
I know. All right, you brought it. So, how much do you want for this again?
I was
was looking to get 10,000 for it, so.
You know, if he authenticates it as real, I think I could pay you like 3,500 for it. I don't think it's worth quite 10,000. Maybe on a good day I could get that.
Mary Jane in a bathtub? Come on. I'll tell you what. Take it 8. 8,000.
How about 4,200? I mean, that's a lot of money.
With the snappy banner from Stanley, come on. Rock bottom offer, 5,000.
You know, even if I buy this from you, I still have to get it authenticated. Alright, if he says it's real, I'll do 5,000. We'll do on the shake on a deal. Alright. Hopefully he says it's real. Mr. Lee meets Mr. Lee. I mean, this is a great iconic moment. I can't wait. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Lee?
Glad to see you.
Yeah. What brings you into town?
Oh, well, they hadn't seen me in a long time, and I couldn't deprive the people of Las Vegas
Yeah, Las Vegas.
from seeing me.
What's this pin you have on here?
That's my respect pin. The whole purpose of it is to try to get the people of different colors to start respecting each other more, and instead of hostility, to have friendship. And I'm doing my best, and I hope others will wear the pin and do their best too.
I like that. I feel like I've always got that message to your comics anyways.
Right.
I had a quick question for you if you don't mind.
I'll give you a quick answer.
Alright, I have this comic strip here.
Wow. Oh, this brings back memories. John Romita drew it. He's wonderful.
What I really loved about it was the snappy dialogue.
Well, that's my dialogue. Obviously, it's going to be good.
Wondering if you noticed that signature.
Have a special lens. Yeah. Yeah. That's my signature.
So that is your signature, huh?
Oh, no doubt about it. Whose is it? Yours?
That's mine.
You're a lucky guy.
Hey, well, appreciate it.
It was a pleasure seeing you. Good luck to you. Frame it carefully.
Stanley has authenticated the piece,
5,000. Alright, it's a good deal.
and I've made my deal with Chumley. All in all, meeting both of the Lees has really been a great day for me, and I'm very happy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how's it going? I have this amazing comic book I would like for you guys to check out.
Yeah, let me see it. Don't you touch that.
Why?
You know what this is? Spider-Man? This isn't just like #1 Spider-Man. This is the first time anybody saw Spider-Man.
Oh.
You have one of the like holy grails of comic books.
Yeah.
Where did you get this?
My brother and I, about 20 years ago, we bought a collection of comic books, and this was just in there.
That's amazing. Oh, you're like the guy who buys the Andy Warhol at a garage sale.
Yeah, pretty much. I came to the pawn shop today to sell one of the most amazing comic books that's ever been. I'm going to ask $16,000. I think if they'll see the potential of this, I mean, everybody knows Spider-Man with all the movies. I think this is a great opportunity for them to get this out.
Well, if that's real, man, I'll be blown away because The Amazing Spider-Man was the #1 in the series. This is like the introduction to that. It was kind of like the comic books version of a TV pilot. They did it, they tested it out, they gave the whole backstory, and I think we all know how well Spider-Man has caught on.
Well, this was a whole new era for comic books.
It's hard to exaggerate how important this thing is. I mean, this is where the entire mega franchise of Spider-Man began. And to collectors, it's practically priceless. I could probably charge people just to look at it. Do you have any particular amount you're looking for on it?
Yeah, I'd like to sell for $16,000.
For a comic book?
For this comic book.
It might be worth it. Comic books had their heyday where they were going for obscene amounts of money, and then they dropped. Do you mind if I have a buddy of mine come down and take a look at it? He can give me an idea of what it's worth.
That'd be great.
I mean, to be quite honest with you, I don't even want to be responsible for taking this thing out of the cover. Let me give him a call and I'll be right back.
That'd be great.
This is one of the most valuable comic books ever, but price tag depends on condition. So I'm going to need to bring in the big guns to help me out on this one.
Amazing Fantasy 15, man. Fantastic. I've seen one in a 9.6 condition go for over $1 million.
That's exactly why I didn't want you to touch it.
So what are your concerns about the book, Corey?
I can tell the difference between a 1 and a 10, but I can't tell the difference between a 4 and a 7.
Yeah. It's apparent we see some chipping here, which is very common with the paper they used back then. It's really tough to duplicate that. Let me just make sure we have all the pages here. This is such a classic page here. High school setting, Peter Parker. He's Midtown High's professional wallflower. So they're kind of poking fun of him. Everything looks intact. Doesn't seem like we're missing any pages. That's great, man.
What do you think?
On a scale of 1 to 10, now I'd put this in the 5 range. Very good to fine condition. Closer to the $6,000 to $7,000 range.
Really?
That's way, way less than where I would put it. You got a lot of issues on the cover, and the cover is everything. The $1 Million book, you would have had none of this chipping, no stamp, you'd had no staining, no binding issues, no creases.
Right on, Johnny. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. I was really shocked when he said $7,000. Condition of fine would be worth a whole lot more than $7,000.
What's your bottom number on the comic?
I mean, I was saying 16, and I would go 13.
I mean, the most I'm going to pay is 7. I mean, so we've got a huge gap there. I can tell you from my experience, this is the worst time in history to be selling comic books.
I could go 11.
You know, with the condition issues that it has, it's just not there for me.
All right, bottom line, 10,000.
You know, man, I hate to lose the comic over $3,000, but I've got to stick at 7. I'm sorry, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I would love to have the superpower of kind of helping someone see things clearly. I think they would realize this is worth a whole lot more than $7,000.
What do we got here?
I have the first introduction of Thor. It's a Journey into Mystery comic book.
Okay. It's pretty amazing. I know a lot about Thor the God, not really the comic book character.
You know, as far as the comic book character goes, yeah, you have Superman and Spider-Man and the Hulk and all this. And then you have a god.
I'm here at the pawn shop today to sell my Journey into Mystery comic book. What's really special about this particular comic book is it's the first appearance of Thor in a comic book. I've had it for a couple of years now, but I could use the money. I want to start traveling a little bit, so I'm hoping to sell that comic book for about $100,000.
All right, pretty cool. The actual mythical god Thor, he was the god of sacred groves, trees, lightning, thunder, and a few other things.
Yeah, I don't know that much about the comic book character. I just know that's what Thunder was Thor hitting something with his hammer.
So you know when this came out?
I believe around 1962.
Okay. I'm not wearing my glasses, so like, who wrote this?
Stanley Story, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko art.
The only one I really know about is Stan Lee, who was like, you know, he wasn't an artist, but he was like the most famous story writer for Marvel. You know, he came up with Spider-Man. Obviously, he came up with this, the introduction right there.
Stan Lee's one of those guys, you know, he's probably the most famous comic book guy there ever was or ever will be.
So where'd you get this at?
My brother.
Okay, he just gave it to you?
Well, he used to draw for Marvel Comics years ago.
All right. Super cool. So you sent it in and got it graded?
I sent it in and got it graded.
And it's got a great rating on it, too. It's got an 8.5. Comic books where they first introduce a character, those ones are always worth money. This one being the introduction of Thor, which is now like a huge part of the Marvel Universe. You definitely have something here. So, I mean, you're looking to sell this?
Yeah, I'd like to sell it.
How much were you looking for?
About $100,000.
$100,000. All right. And just think of all those comic books I threw away when I was a kid.
Me too.
I mean, all I can tell you is I'm a little overwhelmed with it. I know a comic book from this era, this grade, the introduction of a character, it's got to be worth a whole lot of money. I just don't know how much.
Right.
So let me have someone take a look at it, and we'll go from there. I mean, we're talking a lot of money here.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'll give Steve a call.
Thank you. I'm hoping that the expert will validate my asking price, actually.
What do we have today?
We have Thor.
Oh, look at that, huh? Beautiful. So we have the first appearance of Thor, Stanley and Jack Kirby, of course. Very famous.
co-creators of the entire Marvel Universe. And Thor is the 5th character that came along in the Marvel Universe, just after Spidey. Stan did the plot, Jack created the costume. So again, great year, 1962 for Marvel, breakout year.
Okay, so that was this comic series?
Yes, well basically issue 82 through 1 featured suspense, mystery, stories, no superheroes. And then as the superheroes began to grow, instead of like creating a brand new title just for Thor, they just said, okay, why don't we just throw Thor and Journey into Mystery?
Okay, and then soon after that he got his own comic book.
Yes, in 1966.
All right, now she's asking $100,000 for this.
Ooh. All right, so first things first. CGC is the grading company here. The good thing is they've done the heavy lifting for us. An A5 with a book like this, and this book has white pages. That is astounding, which means that somehow this book was stored in an environment where the pages didn't turn brown or off-white. That is a major selling point.
Okay, and what would it retail for?
Right now, if I was to take this book to my store, put a price sticker on it, $60,000.
Yep, Steve, man, I appreciate you coming down, buddy.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, well, good luck.
A lot more than the 12 cents on the cover.
Yeah, definitely a good return on your money. Okay, so what would be your best price on it?
60,000.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the smartest business move to buy it for 60 when I could sell it for that. But I'll give you 30. That's cash. You don't have to retail it. You don't have to put it in an auction or anything like that. You don't have to wait a year to get paid.
50,000.
At 50,000, there's no money in it for me. I mean, if I sell it here, I got to pay commissions and everything else like that. If I sell it at an auction, there's auction fees. I'll give you 40. 40,000 is a reasonable cash offer. Okay.
Okay, I'll go 40.
All right, sweet.
Thank you.
All right, you want to go right her up?
Come with me.
Well, I was asking 100,000, but $40,000 is still a good amount of money, so I'm going to help my brother out a little bit with some bills, and then the rest of the money, I'm just gonna go travel.
So I have a collection of Incredible Hulk number 1 through 6 I'd like you to take a look at.
Like the original number 1?
The Silver Age.
When it was gray.
And he turned green. 14 years ago, I was building my restaurant in Brooklyn, and I found them in the basement behind a whole bunch of trash. I want $40,000. If I get $40,000 today, I'm probably gonna reinvest in more comic books.
From what I understand, Stan Lee couldn't get the inks to line up right on the different pieces of paper, so multiple times in this comic, he's a different color gray. And to make it easier, he just turned them green. But people go crazy with this. I mean, Stan Lee did Fantastic Four, and everybody liked the Thing from Fantastic Four, so he decided to make a whole storyline on a different thing-like kind of creature. They're all in awesome shape, and that's Stan Lee's signature.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I got a chance to meet Stan Lee in Chicago, and I had him sign it.
What I'm a little nervous about is I don't know if it devalued him by having him signed. I mean, Stan Lee signs a lot of stuff. I mean, he's at every Comic-Con there is, signing stuff all the time, and when people buy these, pure collectors, they want the actual perfect one. So I don't know if him signing it is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. You ever have him appraised or have any idea what you're looking to get for him?
I'd like to get 40,000.
40,000. Seems awfully high for comic books that were 12 cents back in the day. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge collector and I'm not a big comic book store, but I know a guy I can have come down and take a look at them. I don't know if they're going to be valued at 40 grand.
All right, that'd be great. Corey says he's going to call in an expert, and I'm excited to hear what the expert has to say. I'm pretty sure that these books are going to be special and worth a lot of money.
Wow. Hulk 1 through 6, the whole run. Signed by Stan, that's nice.
I mean, I know most collectors, they want these things pristine. Does the signature devalue the comic book?
Depends on who you're selling to, but for the most part, people are gonna love that Stan Lee signed these. You mind if I take a look?
Go ahead.
Alright. The Hulk 1, you got a little tear with some creases up there. Let's see if it's complete. 8 pages to the centerfold where the staples are, and 8 pages after. So normally you might find a book like The Incredible Hulk 1 in like a really low grade, really beat up, ratty. But this is a nice copy, it's complete, it's solid. Strike on the inks is nice, the signature placement's good. This would be the big book. The rest is icing.
Okay, what's it worth?
The Hulk 1 in like a 9.2 or a 9.4, like really high grade, would be like $375,000.
Really? I'm just dumbfounded.
So it's probably around a fine, like a 6.0. So all said and done, I think if I did my math right, probably puts you at about 36,000.
Wish I would have collected my comics.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Take care, man.
Good to see you, Coral. Good luck. Take care.
Yeah, it's great. For you? Yeah, that's right. You know I can't pay you $36,000 for them. Gotta make money. Oh, I was looking to get 40. My guy said they book out at 36, and I'd have to cut that in half. The last offer that I got was at 35. I would run and go grab it. Paying for all these things that close to retail, it's never gonna happen for me. I understand. You know, I'm really stuck at 40. Are you? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass, man, but thanks for bringing them in. Like I said, they are really cool. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, man. I'm not disappointed. I was excited to at least have them evaluated by a professional, and probably just gonna hold on to them for a little bit longer and sell them when the time's right.
Hello.
Hey,
What do you got here?
I have my uncle's comic book collection. He passed away, and this was handed down to me.
They're all comic books?
All comic books.
This is pretty cool. Is there anything good in here?
I have no idea.
Alright, how many boxes do we have here?
I have 7. This is actually only half of his collection. My brother inherited the other half.
Well, hopefully you got the good half.
I hope so. I'm at the pawn shop because where else are you going to take 7 boxes of comic books and sell them? I'm hoping that they're really valuable, but I don't have the time to go through them all. If I sell the comic books, I'm probably going to spend the money taking my kids on vacation.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff in here. Dracula, I know you've heard of Dracula. Lord of the Vampires. Avengers are so hot right now, they have so many movies. I think this is the first one that Rogue made an appearance in. It's pretty cool.
Looks like a bunch of paper to me.
What do you mean, bro? Have you ever heard of Doctor Strange?
No, but I'm looking at Strange.
Well, Doctor Strange should be worth a few $100 on its own. What else you got in here? Oh, the X-Force. This is like one of the first couple times Deadpool made his appearance in a comic book.
So you acting like you're an expert in this?
Whatever, bro.
Better get somebody down here that knows what they're talking about.
Dude, I don't need Paul. These are comic books.
He's a comic book expert.
I may not know everything about comic books, but these comics are priced between $0.25 and 75 cents per book. Which means I can date them back to the 70s or 80s. Which means they're from the Bronze Age of comics, and bronze is only 2 steps away from gold. And there's 7 boxes of these babies. Sometimes you can just feel the deal. Enough of negative Nancy over there. I think you have a pretty cool collection. What exactly are you looking to get for him?
I'd like to get $2,000.
Well, I can tell you that ain't gonna happen. Even if there's $2,000 worth of comics here, it's gonna take a lot of time to go through all these boxes. I'm gonna have to find that diamond in the rough. But with that being said, you know, pretty sure I can. I'll give you $50 a box. That's $350.
Can you do 500?
Would you go $450 on them?
500 is going to be the lowest I can go.
Oh no. What do you think?
I don't want no parts of this. You don't call Paul down there.
Life is about chances, and sometimes you just gotta take them. I'm gonna do the 500. I'm gonna show everyone what an expert I really am.
I know there's going to be some good stuff in here.
Meet you right over there to write it up.
Thank you. I'm taking the $500 because I don't want to carry the comic books out of here.
This is how you do it, Antoine. This is how you make a name for yourself in this business. When these are gonna be worth $5 grand, I'm gonna be the one who gets the reward.
What did you two buy? I didn't buy anything. Leave it up to your expert.
I bought these comics for $500.
When did you become an expert on comic books?
I only worked at the pawn shop for almost 15 years.
Just do me a favor and do call someone who knows something about comic books and find out if I just lost money. Yeah, like Paul.
Watch. You just watch.
All right, guys.
Yes, Paul.
All right. Hey, that's a nice little stack we got there.
Yeah, I pulled about 18 books. Some some really cool stuff.
Yeah, duh.
You got First Taskmaster, First Nova, Red Hulk, some good stuff. There's Doctor Strange in there.
Yep, I see they're pretty good.
All right, the big question: what are they worth?
This stack I pulled is probably, there's about $200 retail.
And the other couple £100 of comic books are worth?
About 5 cents a book if you're lucky. It's common stuff. There's nothing high grade, nothing that's really worth getting certified.
How many of them are there?
300 in a box, so 2,100.
2,100 nickels.
I'm not good at math, but it seems like it's more than 500.
You spent $500 on some comic books I'll be lucky to get like $180 out of, and 7 boxes of the recyclable paper. So they're basically worthless.
No, they're not worthless.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
Alright,
Take care.
thanks for the bad news. I mean, you gotta find the silver lining here, Rick. We put a box of these on the floor, put like $1 price tag on them, and then parents buy them for their kids when they come here to, pawn something.
In a couple of years, I might get my money back.
Hey, sometimes investments are made over the long run. You kids these days want all this instant satisfaction. I need to go home.
Chum.
So what do we have here?
I got these 2 items here, Thor hammer and helmet.
Well, clearly it's a replica because it didn't shatter my glass.
I don't know. It looks like Thor's hammer to me. Oh, jeez. I think it might be real.
I'm at the pawn shop today looking to sell my Thor helmet and hammer. So I bought a storage unit, and when I went in, I found these helmet and hammer. I believe that these are casted off the original pieces that were used in the movie. These things are in pristine condition. I'm hoping to get $8,000 for my Thor hammer and helmet.
Well, this is cool, Big Hoss. Thor was first introduced in the Marvel Comics in 1962, and then in 1963 he was one of the founding members of the Avengers, which today the Avengers is the biggest movie franchise in superhero history, and possibly one of the biggest movie franchises ever in history, period. Let me take a look here. Let me see. Let's see how this looks, Big Hoss. You look like Thor.
Dude, no, get this off me.
Hold on, pick the hammer up.
There it is.
Dude,
Alright,
I know what your next Halloween costume is.
No.
I see you have some boxes over there that say EFX on them.
Yes.
Lift that up, Big Hoss, and see if it says EFX on the bottom.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that's really cool. EFX is a company that is known for making replica movie props and things like that. So these would have been molded from the original props used in the movie. So that's also why they look so good. And most of this stuff sells out instantly or very shortly after it's released because the collectible market for this stuff is huge. What are you looking to do with them?
Possibly selling them.
How much are you looking to get?
Probably around $8,000.
$8,000?
Listen, that sounds way, way high. But I do think you have some value here. Since you started so high, I'm going to start so low. How about 700?
That's pretty low.
Give me a number we can both work with here.
$6 grand.
1,500.
$4 grand.
Most I can do, absolute most, 2 grand. And that's a firm, fair offer.
All right.
2 grand?
I'll go 2 grand.
All right, let's go write it out.
All right.
I lose money on this. This is going right upside his head.
Recently, Chum decided to buy replicas of Thor's hammer and helmet for the Marvel movies. He paid $2,000 for the pair and promises me that the shop will make money off it, but I'm a little skeptical. So I'm taking these over to Steve at Rogue Toys so he can check them out. And hopefully, this is Asgard as it gets.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Steve.
What do you got here?
I'm not exactly sure. Chum purchased these, and he spent a lot of money on them. Chum swears he knows what he's doing, but then again, he never says he doesn't know what he's doing. So, I just have no idea what they're worth, and I just need to know if I need to walk back over there and use the hammer on Chum.
Well, what you got here, these are from a company called EFX. They're a high-end prop replica company.
So they got exclusive access to the props from on camera, and what they're able to do with them is mold exact replicas of what you would have seen on screen. So both of these items are considered screen accurate and highly, highly desirable to collectors.
Okay.
This is a great item for the shop because they only made 250 of the helmets, and they only made 250 of the hammers. And you know, whenever you have something that's really desirable and a huge collector base like Marvel has, it's usually a recipe for success. So I don't know what Chum paid for him. I hope he didn't overpay.
Well, he paid $2,000 for him.
I've seen individually these pieces go between $2,500 and $3,000 a piece. For the pair, I would say you'd have no problem getting $6,000 for both of them.
Okay. I guess Chum did well. Thanks, man. I just wanted to make sure.
Awesome pieces, man. Thanks for bringing them over.
Okay, no problem.
All right, see you later.
In the meantime, I'll go find something for my grandson.
All right, thanks, Rick. I got a couple of vintage comic books for you. First one here is Avengers #1. That's what started the movie craze that you know today. And then over here we've got a giant-size X-Men #1.
Yeah, and what happened with the X-Men is just all the movies. I mean, there's been like 7 of them, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. And the Avengers came out a few years ago, and my 11-year-old son literally told me the Avengers was the greatest movie ever made.
There you go. So I came down to the pawn shop today to sell my Avengers #1 and giant-size X-Men #1 comic books. Yeah, comic books, I think it's the sense of nostalgia and freedom, a time of innocence, plus all those bright colors. I mean, who could resist that? On the giant-size X-Men one, I'm asking $1,200. On the Avengers one, I'm asking for $4,600. The least I would take is $3,300.
Where did you get these?
Well, this actually came from an original owner collection out in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
This one actually came by way of a trade for some original art.
Okay, cool. And so Stan Lee did the story in this one, right?
Yeah, he formed a lot of the groups, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers. Those were all his ideas.
Yeah, it's comic books are a little weird. People see like the #1 sitting right here, and they'll think it's the first X-Men, but it's not.
That's correct.
Because they'll have like a #1 Amazing Spider-Man, a #1 Spectacular Spider-Man. But this is definitely the first Avengers that ever took place.
That's exactly right. And you know, back to this one too. I mean, that's the new X-Men lineup. Wolverine and a lot of the characters that are known today. The rest, as they say, is history. It's an extremely popular franchise.
Vintage comic books can be worth a lot of money. And these have the vibe of something special. But comic book collecting can be really tricky. So you have to be really careful when you're dealing with stuff like this because you can get burned. And what grade are you calling these?
This one's, I believe, is a fine plus to a very fine, between a 6.5 and a 7.0. It presents in near mint condition. And this one's in the same range, maybe slightly better. I think this is a fine, very fine, maybe a 7.0 to 7.5 right in there.
Okay. How much you want for them?
Well, this one, I'm looking for $4,600.
Okay.
And on the giant size X-Men, $1,200.
All right. You can grade them at one thing, and I can grade them at another thing. And all that means nothing in the real world because you've got to have a real grading company grade them. I have a friend that works for CGC.
Okay.
Let me have him grade them because it makes a world of difference what they're graded at.
100% agreed.
Let me go give him a call. I'll get him down here, and he will look at them.
Sounds great.
All right. Hang out for a little bit.
Right up. Thank you. As far as CGC coming in and checking out my books, I would welcome it because I think it's going to validate the grades that I assign to the books.
Like I said on the phone, Avengers #1.
Wow, man.
And the giant size X-Men. I know this one's cool, but this one's really cool.
Yeah, Giant Size X-Men 1, 1975 has some of my favorite first appearances. Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, some dude named Wolverine, it's his second appearance. Some people have heard of him. But man, in Avengers 1, that's a thing of beauty. This came out in September 1963. Marvel had gone through some tough times, and with Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, they were really starting to have a rebirth with superheroes. And Avengers 1 just took all of these characters that had their own books and brought them all together as a superhero team. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby brought all of their popular characters together because Daredevil 1 was actually supposed to ship that month, but Bill Everett was late on his layouts. So, real quick, they concocted the Avengers with their existing characters, boom, put it out, and now it's a $1 billion franchise.
He wants to sell them to me, and I don't know what the grade's going to come out. The front of it looks nice, but
Yeah, the front cover looks beautiful. What I need to do is take them back. I need to count the pages, check for restoration, and then I just count the defects in my head, and magic grade spits out my mouth.
that's the science of it.
Yeah, that's the science of it.
Okay, can we show you the conference details?
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
I'm really excited to find out what this comic book show is. And I know for a fact
looks the way he looks
more than
a lot more than his diet. That's for damn sure.
So what do we got here, man?
I have a couple comic books signed by Stan Lee and 2 original sketches signed by Stan Lee. These right here are the only 2 known sketches that Stan Lee has ever drawn.
You alright, Sean?
My spider senses are tingling.
I came to the pawn shop today to sell my sketches and comic books signed by Stan Lee. The sketches are one of a kind. I would hope I might be able to get $10,000, $15,000 out of them, so I can afford a trip to Comic-Con and maybe even buy a couple other comic books.
So where did you get these?
I got these at the Comic-Con in Chicago back in 1991. Stan Lee was kind of sitting over there at a table by himself, and I said, "Would you sign this?" And he signed it. I said, "Hey, would you draw a sketch for me?" And he said, "I created Spider-Man, and I'm a writer, but I don't draw Spider-Man. But I'll tell you what, if you want to draw Spider-Man, all you do is you make a circle, then you put a couple lines in here, and he drew Spider-Man." So I went back the next year, and I asked him if he would do it again, and he did that, and he said, "But don't ever ask me to do it again."
Stan Lee is one of the biggest names in comic book history. As editor of Marvel, he created Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, and the Avengers. Comic book fans just love this guy. You got these each time you met Stan Lee.
Yeah, I have reproduction of Amazing Fantasy 15, which is where Spider-Man was born. And this, I just grabbed anything with Spider-Man and Marvel on it to make sure it was something that he did. That's where I got this.
Alright, Spider-Man, he is one of the biggest comic book people of all times. I mean, there is tons of people out there that actually collect this stuff. But typically, his signature isn't worth much. Marvel Comics is pretty much a billion-dollar company now, but mid to late 90s, this guy was probably fairly close to broke. It was kind of hard to sell comic books at the time, and this guy would show up to just about anywhere they would pay him.
Right.
If you're willing to buy Stan Lee a plane ticket and give him $1,000, he would show up at your comic book store. So I'm sure he signed thousands of items. That being said, I don't know how rare these 2 drawings are going to be. Maybe these are the only 2 Spider-Mans that he ever drew.
I haven't seen any
when Whitney
I don't think
arrived,
he's drawn
he was
100
a
every
mess.
day for 3 or 4 years.
told me
Come
she
lay down,
was
buddy.
so her sister Alma from hitting and
I'll tell
attacking
you what,
Johnny
I
on the
got a guy
stairs.
who would know.
Whitney
Okay,
said when
let
she
me give
tried
him
to
a call.
intervene
He'll
to
come
stop
down
Alma
and
from going
shed
after
some light on
Johnny,
these.
Well,
Alma
then,
nearly
let's
pushed
call your dad and
Whitney
find out.
down the
Alright,
stairs.
cool.
I
She
really
told me
think
she
that this
was
is
worried
the only
Alma
2 known sketches
was
of
going to
Stan
kill
Lee
Johnny.
drawing Spider-Man. I'm
Hey,
glad that
Whitney
someone's going to be able to come in and finally
she
tell me
hadn't
what these
heard
things
that
are
kind
worth.
of abuse her entire life.
There's no bigger
First
name
from
in
her
comics
father
than
and
Stan
then
Lee.
from Amber,
Imagine the
who
world
she said
of comics
was
without
extremely
Spider-Man.
violent.
Fantastic Four,
She lived
Iron
with
Man,
me because she
Hulk,
did not
the
feel
Marvel
she could go
Universe.
back to
Exactly.
live
I
at
mean,
the
without
Eastern
Stan
Columbia
Lee, who
building.
knows where he'd
My
be
father
today? Not
reminded
only
me this
did
morning
he
that I told
come
her,
up with these
quote,
really cool
Whitney
superheroes,
had moved in
he
with
brought
me
reality to
because she
superheroes.
was terrified of
Guys
her
like
sister.
Spider-Man, working a
While
job
Whitney
and
was
having
living
a
with me,
girlfriend,
she told me
he
that
brought
Johnny kept
more of a
checking in to see
human
how she was
feel
doing,
to these
and that he
superhero
called her
characters.
sis and she
Well,
called
Stan
her
Lee
brother.
created Spider-Man in
Whitney said to
62.
me on
This is the
multiple
first appearance
occasions
of
that she did not know
Spider-Man
why he
here
was
in
staying in the
Amazing
relationship,
Fantasy 15.
nor why he was
But this
putting
is,
up
of
with
course, a
Alma's
reprint
abuse.
here,
Whitney
which
shared with me
really
the
doesn't have a
damage
whole lot of
endured by
value.
both her and
We got
Amber as
Stanley's
children,
signature on that.
and the injury she had
I've seen
suffered
his
from
signature
Amber was
hundreds of times.
psychologically and
Everything
physically.
looks right. These are really neat. You got the sketches. It's really rare to see him do anything like that. I mean, this isn't what Stanley does. I mean, he's done just about everything else connected to Marvel, but as far as an artist, that's just not who Stanley is.
So, Johnny, big question. What do you think this stuff's worth?
Well, we got 4 Stanley signatures, we got 2 on comic books, and we got 2 of the sketches which are significant, definitely add to the value.
Buggy Wugs.
saw him last, Nickman? Yes, sir. Right underneath that cabinet. Unlike the human, the rat drags his testes as he walks. This creates a urine trail. Male testes confirmed.
Shouldn't you be wearing a mask?
Mask, smask. Mask. Mask. Schmask. Mask, schmask. That's it. Mask, schmask. You peed in your last old man. Nickman?
It's Hank. They called me because apparently I'm your emergency contact person.
I wanted someone who had nothing to gain from my demise.
Good, I'm glad you're away. Mr. Gribble, 22 years of breathing in toxins have eroded your sinuses and coated your lungs with a substance I can't quite identify.
I would like that substance back. It belongs to me.
Look, Dale, the doctor thinks you should quit exterminating. Your body can't handle any more poisons.
Can't do?
If you don't quit, you won't live to 50. Of course, I'm rounding that number up.
Well, that was a waste of time. Don't tell Nancy what he said. She'd want to listen to this clown.
I already called her. She had to stop at home to get your real ID.
That was a bad, bad move, Hank. She's here too? That's it. Hank, you are hereby relieved of your duties as my emergency person. Peggy, you're in.
You will not regret it.
Nancy, did you borrow my rat urine detector?
I donated it to charity. You're too sick to exterminate, Shug.
I'll tell you what I told that doctor. I'm not quitting, you incompetent quack. I love exterminating.
Or do you love me?
No. Pretty close, though.
Dale, you have a family who needs you.
And I need to work to support them.
I support us.
But I contribute.
You pay the cable bill. Come on, Shug. If not for me, then for Joseph. What about your dream to see your son take his son to Roswell?
That rang true. Well, if you need me, I'll be 8 feet under in my metaphorical grave. The basement. Damn, I was good.
Dad, I just came down to borrow some roaches for my science project.
Roaches have been on this earth for 500 million years. You've been here, what, 13? You're in over your head. What species are these?
Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
Well done. All right, here's what we'll do for your science project. We will breed servant roaches. As long as we ensure that I am the first thing the roaches see when they are born, they will think I am their mother and will therefore obey my every command. My every command.
Think we can train them to crawl through a maze?
Oh, we'll train them to do worse things than that, Joseph.
Oh, my Lord. Did it occur to either of you to set the table for dinner?
I guess we were distracted by our afternoon of monitoring roach excretia.
That's how you spend your days. Who ate all the chopped meat? That was dinner.
The roaches.
Excretia doesn't come from nowhere.
Yes, do I saw it to make love on Richie Sambora.
No, you didn't.
Went there.
You know, Dale, we're all out here to unwind from the workday.
for sex.
Now come May, I expect a Mother's Day gift from you roaches. Word to the wise, something you make yourselves means even more.
Hey, Dale, how are things with Nancy? You know, you used to brag about, stuff.
I didn't mean to brag, it's just that we were having spectacular sex.
Yeah, but, not so much lately, huh?
Maybe it's something I ate. What's the opposite of oysters? Apples?
Look, maybe it has something to do with you being out of work. I mean, would you want to sleep with a
Get
bug?
your grub. Got your grub.
No.
That's right. See, there's nothing sexier than a man with a 9-to-5 job, which is why I lined up a new job for you. Remember my cousin Rita?
The one with the underbite?
Yeah. Well, she just quit her job at that adhesives company, and she's putting in a good word for you to replace her.
Well, I hope she puts it in writing because you can barely understand her when she talks.
Oh, my man looks so handsome.
I know. And I type 30 words per minute. Can we make out?
Well, look at you in your suit.
It's Joseph's. You didn't have to drive me to work. I wasn't going to play hooky on my first day.
Well, that's not what you told Bobby.
Your boy's a liar and a blabbermouth.
And Dale, remember, everyone likes a hard worker.
Of course they do. They do all the work for them.
Mr. Gribble, you're a minute late.
My watch says 9:01. Oh, do you start at 9?
We're a team at Stick Tech, and a team is only as strong as its weakest player. That's you. Oh, we don't smoke here at Stick Tech.
I understand. You have to tell everyone that.
We don't allow sunglasses at Stick Tech, unless you can prove that you're blind. No, certainly no caps, except yarmulkes under 8 inches in diameter.
The cap stays.
Oh, not at Stick Tech. Oh, you're bald. And not in an attractive way, like Sean Connery. Oh well, rules are rules. Here's your cubicle. This is where you sit and work. Welcome to Stick Tech.
Job, Boogie. Job. Get up your grubs. Squiggly?
My little working man gets
Squiggly?
day.
They made me join a carpool and leave early because of all the stops.
Well, maybe they can pick you up last.
Tried that. Rodriguez is last.
Get your
Always
cabs.
has been.
Get your cabs.
I know you're just
Get your cabs.
but you've got to
You gonna get circles? You ain't get the little squiggly?
Humans, they won't even let me eat lunch until 1 o'clock. You know I like 9 small meals throughout the day. Not ready!
Check this out. Something's going on between Frank and Linda. I heard from that guy in accounts payable, the one with the vintage glasses, that they were at Bennigan's sharing mozzarella sticks.
Enjoy the end of the Today Show, Rodriguez.
Not as much as the beginning of Regis. Hey, did you guys hear about Frank and Linda?
Invoice 1347/2, amount $3.88, check number 8429 cleared. Invoice number 1347/3, amount $17.47, check number 3524 cleared. Invoice 1347/4, amount $6.19.
Mr. Gribble, what did I tell you?
No hats of any kind at Stick Tech.
Thank you. One more slip up and you lose your privileges to dress casual on Casual Fridays. Are we clear?
Clear. Can I go to lunch now?
Oh, I moved your receptionist. She's eating lunch.
I don't know if I can wait for Dale any longer. I'm getting all peachy.
Hey, Dale, what's new in the world of adhesives?
Well, we were each issued 2 Stick Tack brand stick-it pads.
Well, this is great. We're getting the inside scoop here, fellas.
I should tell you about Special Project F, adhesive strips for envelopes that come in all different flavors. Mango, peach, lime, cherry, and maybe pina colada.
Speaking purely as a consumer, I can't wait
Good job,
for that
Boogie.
product to hit the
Good
store.
job.
How about you, Boomhauer? Dale, huh? What? Yeah, oh, yeah, man, you know.
Dad, since you're spending so much time at work, we better leave the roach tank in your office. That way you'll still be the first thing they see when they hatch, and they'll Up yours, Joseph.
Dale.
Hey.
I'm sorry, son, that's the coffee talking, and the fluorescent
No.
lighting, and the excruciating headache.
Make some time for the roaches, Shug.
We'd all love to make time for roaches, but in the real world, people have to spend all night reconciling invoices, or Miss Pippin won't let them wear chinos and a knit shirt next Friday.
Dale, what are you doing to the Bugabago?
My turn to drive the carpool, and the underground garage clearance is only 7 feet.
Why don't you just take off her antennas?
Why don't you just take off Bobby's head?
I can't fire Bert. He and I started at Stick Tech at the same time, 19 years ago. Well, I can't fire him. We were married briefly in the 80s. Arden, you still loves him.
Wine, wine, wine. When I was an exterminator, I killed living isms. What's the big loop about firing someone?
Just got a notification on my phone wondering if I was getting a phone call.
Didn't care for him much.
Well, since you're about the only one here who has no personal attachment to Bert,
I
maybe you
could,
could do
but
me a favor.
just
Fire him, throw in a container of milk, and we have ourselves a deal. Good-looking kid.
Are ya?
Two ugly people.
Oh, I was
Okay.
expecting Miss Pittman.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Where were
she
you
asked
today?
me to talk to you instead.
Aren't you the receptionist?
When Judy eats lunch,
Oh,
that's
really?
not important. What is
Your
important
favorite.
is that you've got 30 seconds to tell me why you
favorite.
keep your job.
Well,
Yeah, that's not going to fly. Sorry, Halberstrom, you're fired.
Oh, Bert, I just heard. I'm so sorry. That was very decisive. Listen, there's someone else I need to fire. This person I hate so much I can't even look at him.
You know the price. It's all over, Gladstone. Pack your stuff, get out by the end of the day. I can see why.
Hey, I'm gonna
what about my health insurance? Miss Pittman?
I fought for you, Sal. Honestly.
It's not that hard to
Anyone else? I'm still thirsty.
Mr. Gribble, how would you like to make this your permanent job?
Firing Gladstone? Sure. Gladstone!
No. Look, nobody knows this, but Dallas is downsizing the flavored adhesive division. Pina Colada was killing lab monkeys left and right.
What a day, what a day, what a day. Carpool
You
had
know
to
what you
stop
should
at the store. Rodriguez needed a comb. Oh yeah, they made me assistant vice president of human resources.
My husband is an assistant vice president? I am so proud of you.
What you doing?
I heard Mitch got 86 too.
Yeah, at his own damn birthday party. Ribble walked in, blew out the candles, told him to leave the cake and get out. All of these plants are real and give off oxygen, which I use throughout the day.
By my count, that's 6 outlets, Dale, all of them grounded.
Here's a photo of me for your new big fancy desk. We could move it if we ever wanted to.
Have sex on the desk? Sure. We can even move the roaches. I'll just have to find a new place to keep my keys to the executive washroom. Who has to make?
Well, I could go.
You're not an executive. Hold it until we get to the restaurant. Oh, how could I have forgotten? once killed a beetle with 30 million in her egg sac. Well, who wants steak? Shot to you.
That guy you fired today, the way he was crying, I just can't get that image out of my head.
Then let me replace it with this image. Da 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 da.
Sorry, Shug. I just don't feel like it.
Maybe this'll help. Rodriguez, if you ever want your kids to see you lose another sack race at the company picnic, I suggest you get your butt in the back seat.
Alright, excuse me.
Thought so. Carl, as a janitor, what would you do with unlimited free time and no income?
Shug?
Busy, Nancy. Joseph, also busy.
But Dad, my science project's due tomorrow. I need my roaches. They should have hatched by now.
They're in the bottom drawer of my desk next to Carl's severance check. Now, if you'll excuse us.
They've escaped! We gotta find them!
You people with your roaches! I'm trying to fire this incompetent fool with compassion.
But Dad!
You keep this up, Joseph. You're fired from this family.
Dale?
You're next, Blondie. Carl, I'm off to round up some roaches. Any one of which would have made a better janitor than you. People, we have a small insect situation. Please remain... Veronica, you're fired. Calm and enjoy your lunch. Whoa! Remain calm, everyone. I am their mother. Line up single file and get back in the tank. Ah! They're not recognizing me as their maternal influence. The project has gone horribly awry. Quick, Joseph, get me some real poison.
But Dad, you're not supposed to inhale any more poison.
Damn it, why are there so many ways to kill people, but only one way to kill bugs? Hold that thought. The roaches are dead. Please return to your lunch.
During an archaeological dig in
Enjoy.
Austria,